Introduction. What is in this for me? A strategic mindset for project success. Successful project delivery in today's rapid-paced business environment requires going beyond traditional management techniques. The key is to lead strategically, which involves tightly aligning initiatives to organizational strategy while maintaining the flexibility to adapt plans based on changing conditions and learnings. This video to Terry Schmidt's Strategic Project Management Made Simple outlines everything you need to know to meet these challenges. Whether you're restarting a new project or redirecting efforts midstream, get ready to hop into the mindset of a strategic thinker. Key Idea 1. Your strategic foundation. Laying a solid strategic foundation is crucial to project success. To start, you need to define your objectives and link them in an if-then logic flow. The logical framework approach, often shown as a log frame matrix, can help you here. It has a tool for structured project planning and management that enables you to clearly outline a project's main objectives and track their progress. Here's a simplified structure of a log frame matrix. In your first row, your goal encompasses the broader objective the project aims to contribute to. This is usually at the company level. Where are you heading in the long term? Next up is your purpose, or outcome, the direct impact of the project. You'll get a little more specific here. Why are you doing this project, and how does it support your longer-term goals? Third are your outputs, which are the specific results or products that need to be produced to accomplish the purpose. Outputs are tangible deliverables that are totally in your team's control. In your final row, list your activities, the tasks that need to be done to achieve the outputs. These are your specific, day-to-day actions. For each of these components, you're going to look at 4 strategic questions to help you define the objectives, measurement metrics, assumptions, and specific plans of the project. What are you trying to accomplish, and why? How will you measure success? What conditions must exist? And how will you get there? But before we dive into each of these critical questions, let's talk about who's going to be involved in answering them: the project stakeholders. Key Idea 2. Involve stakeholders early. Effective stakeholder management is essential to executing your project smoothly. Begin by bringing the key players on board early. This will build the commitment that is critical for success. To do this, identify all your project stakeholders, including customers and end users. Also consider the project team members, sponsors, participating organizations, vendors, gatekeepers controlling needed resources, and even opponents or potential blockers. Analyze each stakeholder's interests, influence, and the level of support they're likely to provide compared to what's needed. If gaps exist, take proactive steps to get their buy-in. There are a number of ways to approach this. You can communicate your vision, and try to convince them through reasoned discussion. Other methods include accommodating their interests in the solution, negotiating trading support on this project for future payback, applying pressure through legitimate power, or appealing to them through relationships. Remember, people support what they help create. So involve stakeholders directly in planning activities like collaborative log frame sessions. This not only builds shared ownership and commitment, it also surfaces issues early on and shapes win-win plans from the get-go. Throughout the project's execution, engage stakeholders with regular communications and updates. Continuously monitor their landscape for changes that may impact levels of support and be ready to take corrective actions if they start slipping. Proactivity. People management is the name of the game when it comes to project leadership. With aligned stakeholders, you'll pave a much smoother road to success. Now it's time to return to our strategic questions. Key Idea 3. What are you trying to achieve, and why? It may seem obvious that you need a clear project objective in order to achieve it, and yet surprisingly, many projects often start with hazy goals. Enter the first critical strategic question: what are you trying to accomplish, and why? To get clarity, carefully diagnose the problem. Don't settle for an oversimplified definition or catchphrase. Dig to find the right problem, one that is worth solving. Then establish your objectives, using precise language with well-chosen verbs and descriptors. Remember to distinguish between objective levels, the goal, purpose, outputs, and activities. This is the point where you specify what at each of these objective levels are, and check their logic. For instance, you might want to increase your market share for a particular product. This is your goal. Then, the purpose of your project might be increasing customer adoption of your product. The outputs of your project should directly support this purpose. You are going to launch this feature, run this test, and build this campaign. Make sure your outputs are measurable and have a deadline, so you know exactly what you need to achieve, and when. Finally, describe the smaller activities needed to achieve these outputs. This hierarchy also creates a management contract that clarifies accountability. For example, the project manager is responsible for generating outputs that achieve the purpose. Carefully examine presumed if-then links between levels to strengthen your strategy's validity and avoid wishful thinking or faulty logic. This could look something like, if we achieve the output of a new product feature, then we'll accomplish the purpose of customers adopting it. If we accomplish that purpose, then we'll reach the goal of increased market share. At every level, ask yourself whether your hypothesis seems reasonable. When you clearly define objectives and fit them into true if-then statements, you provide a solid project backbone. This thinking moves teams from fuzzy notions to solid alignment around a common goal. Key idea 4. How will you measure success? So you know what you want to do. But how will you know when you've actually done it? Defining quantifiable measures of success is vital for project clarity and focus. To gain this clarity, ask yourself the second key question, how will you measure success? The solution is simple, put in measure indicators at every objective level. Goal measures capture macro, long-term impacts. For instance, this could be a 5% increase in customer satisfaction or 10% growth in market share. Purpose measures define the conditions that will exist if the project succeeds. They often use from-to thinking. For example, if customers adopt the new system, the user rate will improve from 20% to 40%. Output measures detail the quality, quantity, and time frame specifications for project deliverables. This might mean a training course completed by 150 employees in Q3 with a test score of 80%. Activity measures track costs, timelines, and quality metrics for tasks like meeting project budgets and milestones. Quantify your measures wherever possible, and identify specific means of verification. Reports, surveys, or observations can all help you tangibly track your progress. Be sure to make special attention to your purpose measures. These are the most important of the bunch because they reflect real-world success versus something like output measures, which just describe project completion. For instance, a training course could be delivered on time, but did participants actually improve their skills? Track what matters, not just what's easy. Well-defined, verifiable measures keep teams focused on producing actual impact, not just finishing activities. They provide an objective yardstick to assess progress and redirect efforts if needed. Key idea 5. What conditions need to exist? Every project rests on assumptions, those pesky, uncertain external factors. But assumptions often go unacknowledged, sinking progress when they fail. Answering the third question, what conditions must exist? Helps prevent unexpected surprises by bringing any hidden risks to light. Let us be clear, assumptions always exist, whether they re-verified or not. So make those implicit assumptions explicit. Articulate and document them to avoid preventable disappointments stemming from vague or faulty definitions. When you invest time up front to identify and validate the key assumptions your strategy relies on, you'll save time later. Look for anything that's potentially deal-breaking and address it early on. As you formulate your assumptions, express your desired conditions using quantity, quality, and timeline measures where possible. Again, place them at each appropriate log frame level: goal, purpose, output, activity. Try to cover every factor that could potentially impact the project. For example, At the goal level, you might have a funding approval assumption. At your purpose level, employees adopt the new system as intended. At the output level, the technology integrates with existing IT systems as expected. At the activity level, your team completes the user research within a given time frame. Determine which assumptions are the focus of another team's project. Communicate, and communicate, and communicate some more, to minimize negative cross-project consequences. Then analyze the likelihood and impact of your assumptions failing. Rank them as high, medium, or a low risk. Focus on managing the high-risk assumptions, and have backup plans ready to mitigate them just in case. Proactively surfacing and testing assumptions reduces surprises, and enables you to adapt plans to changing conditions. It's a key step in converting strategy into reality. Key Idea 6. How will you get there? With your strategy set, the next step is detailing exactly how you're going to bridge objectives to on-the-ground action. Asking the final strategic question. How will you get there? Brings focus to your execution efforts. Begin by breaking the project into logical phases, or chunks, and naming and framing each one. Plan near-term chunks in detail while outlining more distant chunks at a higher level. For example, the detailed plan for Phase 1 might contain 25 tasks, while Phase 2 has 10 placeholder tasks. This focuses resources where they are needed today while scoping future work. Use the log frame activities row to summarize key tasks at a high level. Then employ tools like work breakdown structures, schedules, and responsibility matrices for more detailed planning. For instance, the log frame may list conduct R&D as an activity, while the work plan details the specific R&D tasks required. It's important to maintain line of sight through your objective hierarchy, all the way from activities up to goals. R&D tasks should clearly link to output deliverables, which in turn should enable the project purpose and goal. When listing your activities, identify task sequences, predecessors, and dependencies to spot any issues sooner than later. Define resources needed for each task to develop a realistic budget. Clarify roles in a responsibility matrix to ensure accountability. And schedule key milestones and completion dates to track progress. Smart project chunking coupled with high-level log frame planning provides a solid bridge between objectives and detailed execution plans, so you'll know exactly where you stand throughout the process. Key Idea 7. Adapting with learning cycles. In this final section, we're going to talk about flexibility because, let us face it, reality often deviates from even the best laid plans. This is where strategic learning cycles come in. Building in a way that allows you to continuously monitor, review, and evaluate progress means you can easily make adjustments and keep projects nimble and relevant. Monitoring helps you understand your tactical progress. Are you on track to produce the outputs as planned? It focuses on translating activities into deliverables, and managing the budget and schedule. Reviewing takes a periodic high-level look at your strategy. Given new learnings or changing conditions, it asks if the project is still on track to achieve its purpose and goals. Reviews consistently challenge the plan and strengthen it. Evaluating occurs once the project is complete. It assesses whether the project accomplished its purpose and moved the needle on its goals. Evaluation answers the question, did you get the impact you wanted? Build in milestones for these strategic check-ins up front, and use your assessments to update plans and teams based on new insights. They can help you refine your objectives, measures, and activities in the log frame. Plan strategic reviews before launching new phases. Schedule post-project evaluations to cement learnings. Being flexible and making adjustments based on feedback helps you keep your plans current, steward resources wisely, and incorporate new lessons. Just like a skilled navigator, monitoring provides course corrections while reviewing and evaluation ensure you reach your destination. Final summary. To successfully execute initiatives in today's turbulent business landscape, you need a strategic mindset. Use the logical framework, ask critical questions, and proactively manage stakeholders to align your project plans to your organizational strategy. Doing so will enable your team to drive results while maintaining the flexibility to adapt based on learnings and evolving conditions. You have the tools to guide your team's efforts and create tangible impact. Now put them into action.